Hello, welcome to Screen Talk with yours truly, Nomfanelo. For this video, I will be doing my predictions for the 2025 Emmy Awards. Now, it's going to be in three parts because the categories are quite lengthy. I'm not going to do all of the categories because that's going to take a while to do. But with this one, I will be focusing on the limited categories. And just before I was going to record this, I saw an article on Deadline that mentioned that the Emmys, they're going to be adding the variety special live category for the main telecast for the Primetime Emmy Awards. And I find that's an interesting choice to do. Because I assume that with the Emmys, they don't have musical performances. So maybe they were able to squeeze room for this category. I'm not too sure. But because of that news, I'm adding that category to this predictions video. So yeah, here it goes. And I do before I get started, I did look at the Emmys website, and they mentioned that for voting, um, the members for the branches, they vote for their respected categories. So, for example, for the acting categories, it's voted by the actors. The directing categories is voted by the directors, and so on and so forth. But for the program categories, so that means like for drama series, limited, comedy, and so forth, that's voted by everybody. And with learning that kind of helped me in terms of making my choices for these videos. So there's that. So let's get to it, shall we? So let's start with variety with Outstanding Variety Special Live. So the nominees are the Apple Music Super Bowl halftime show starring Kendrick Lamar, Beyonce Bowl, the Oscars, SNL 50, the anniversary special, and SNL 50, the homecoming concert. So, I find, yeah, this is not bad in regards to this crop of nominees. I felt in ways it's quite expected given the stuff that came out during eligibility period. So, I do want to. So for the categories, I'm gonna mention any like previous Emmy wins and nominations and all that stuff. So, all of the nominees in this category, they are nominated in other categories for the Emmys. So, with the SNL anniversary special, that has an additional 11 nominations. The Homecoming Concert for SNL has additional five nominations. The Super Bowl halftime show and the Beyonce Bowl, they have also three nominations. And the Oscars has an additional five nominations. And worth noting, the Oscars, they won this category last year, and they have won a total of 11 Emmys thus far. The Super Bowl halftime show back in 2022, which featured Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige, Eminem, and Kendrick Lamar, that won in this category back in 2022. And that's pretty much it for that. So, this is interesting. So, I'll probably make this note throughout my predictions videos, but when it comes to a program being double nominated, well, in this case, it's two different specials of SNL, but still it's SNL. One or two ways it could go. Like it could be selected as the winner, or it could be completely snubbed in favor of something else. Sometimes it could go either or and all that stuff. So if I were to choose which of the two SNL specials which has a better shot, I would say, in my opinion, would be the anniversary special. Maybe partly because it has more nominations than the concert. But I think also too because it's that special, at least based on the clips I've seen, allowed the cast members to shine in their skill sets with the various skits and all that stuff. Um, hmm. I don't know. It's tough to choose. I think in terms of least likely, it's probably between the Oscars and Beyonce Bowl. I mean, probably too with the homecoming concert. Because I thought the Beyonce Bowl on Netflix it was entertaining, but I have seen better performances from Beyonce. The Oscars, Conan O'Brien did a good job as a host and all that stuff. But as the award show itself, I mean, it was okay. Um, so I think for me, it's gonna come down to two choices with the halftime Super Bowl show and the SNL anniversary special. So if I were to choose the winner, I would probably choose the halftime show because for me that was I would say for me it's one of my favorite Super Bowl halftime shows that I've seen of all time. And of course, with the commentary that came after that performance by Kendrick, well, also too before because of the whole beef of Drake and all that stuff, but. Yeah, I would say that's a phenomenal halftime show. But also too, like SNL has a shot to win here. I think given because it was the 50th anniversary of the show, and essentially like throughout the marketing of that season, it was a pretty big deal with that. So, decisions. So I don't know because I think with the two specials, SNL could possibly cancel each other out. And given like with the halftime show they've previously won, which had Kendrick back in 2022, I think it's going to win in this category. So my final prediction for this category is the Apple Music Super Bowl halftime show starring Kendrick Lamar as the winner. There you go. All right, now we're going to get into the limited categories. So let's start with outstanding writing for a limited or anthology series or movie. The nominees are Adolescence by Jack Thorne and Stephen Graham, Black Mirror, Common People, written by Charlie Booker, story by Charlie Booker and Bisha K. Ali, Dying for Sex, Good Value Diet Soda, Teleplay by Kim Rosenstock, story by Kim Rosenstock and Elizabeth Merriweather, The Penguin, A Great or Little Thing, written by Lauren LaFranc, and Say Nothing, The People in the Dirt, written by Joshua Zetmuter. And in terms of previous Emmy wins and nominations, Charlie Brooker won 5 Emmys for Black Mirror, and Elizabeth Merriweather was nominated for 2 Emmys for The Dropout. Alrighty, so I think in terms of least likely is probably Say Nothing. I didn't fully look into the list of all the nominations for let's say on the tech side, but I'm gonna assume that with Say Nothing, this is its only nomination. So I don't think that one is going to win. Um, Black Mirror, hmm, I don't know. Black Mirror can be very hit and miss. But with Common People, I've heard people say that that's one of the standout episodes of the recent season. So maybe it could win, but given competition here, I'm not too sure on that one. So so I guess it's down to three, but I feel like it's really down to two. I would say between the two that has a shot, I would say is Adolescence and The Penguin. Now, I think the advantage of Adolescence that is being judged for all 4 of the episodes. while the rest of the nominees here, it looks like it's based on the one episode. And yeah, I'm gonna predict adolescence, because yeah, when I watched that series, I watched it all in one day. I found it was quite phenomenal. I watched it pretty late. I didn't watch it at the time it came out, because I remember at the time it came out, there was a lot of noise online in regards to what the show is about and all that stuff. And some of that conversation, honestly, it seemed like people didn't watch the show based on the few of the conversations that I've seen on Twitter. But yeah, regardless of that, I would say yeah, Adolescence is a phenomenal show. The Penguin's actually a pretty good show as well too. I do worry that because it's based off a comic book and all that stuff. It may not be taken as seriously compared to adolescence, because adolescence is more timely, I suppose, given the topics and all that stuff. So I would say for me, both my pick and prediction is adolescence for this category. All right, next up, outstanding directing for a limited or anthology series or movie. The nominees are Philip Borantini for Adolescence, Dying for Sex, It's Not That Serious, directed by Shannon Murphy. The Penguin, Sentiani, directed by Helen Schaefer. The Penguin, A Great or Little Thing, directed by Jennifer Getzinger. Sirens, Exile, directed by Nicole Castle, and Zero Day, directed by Leslie Linka Glatter. Alrighty. I think it's gonna come down to two of the nominees here. It's between Adolescence and The Penguin. Um, Because with adolescence, I guess the main talk of that one is the use of the one track shot throughout the series. And I found like given the topic and all that stuff, I found that was an interesting choice to use. Um, because usually with that format for camera movie it is used for certain types of movies, but I guess for a drama, I guess that's quite interesting choice. For the Penguin, interesting. Again, it's possible that they could cancel each other out. But maybe I would say a Great or Little Thing may have a shot over Sentiani. I think given because it's also that episode's also nominated for the writing category. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Adolescence here again for I would say both my pick and prediction for this category. Oh, right. Oh, and I forgot to mention previous Emmy wins and nominations. Oh my God, forgive me. So, for this category, Shannon Murphy was nominated for Outstanding Music Supervision for WandaVision in 2021, and Leslie Linka Glatter has 8 nominations. So, yes, I forgot to mention that. But given all that, I still predict Adolescence to win this category. I would say if not, it would probably be the Penguin, probably for a Great or Little Thing or Sentiani. But I'm gonna go stick with Adolescence for this category. Alrighty. Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Limited or Anthology Series or Movie. The nominees are Javier Bardem, Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story, Bill Camp, Presumed Innocent, Owen Cooper for Adolescence, Rob Delaney for Dying for Sex, Peter Sarsgaard for Presumed Innocent, and Ashley Walters for Adolescence. And in terms of previous Emmy wins and nominations, Bill Camp, he was nominated in 2017 for The Night of in this category. Rob Delaney was nominated in 2016 for the Outstanding Writing for a Comedy Series category for the show Catastrophe. And Peter Sarsgaard was nominated in this category back in 2022 for Dope Sick. Alrighty. So, um, I'm I'm sticking with adolescence here, and I'm gonna say Owen Cooper for the win here. Because I would say out of the actors in that show, I would say he is the standout. Obviously, I think yeah, the third episode with him and the therapist that really, I would say, highlighted his performance and all that stuff because we see the different emotions and all that stuff. So I would say that is predicted to win. I'm not sure. Maybe Javier Bardem could take it. Because given with monsters that is nominated for the limited series category. Um, Maybe Ashley Walters could take it for adolescents. Because if, let's say, voters feel like Owen Cooper is too young for the category, I could see Ashley Walters taking it because I thought he did a good job with of episode two of that show. And I'm not sure for the other nominees has a shot because let's say for presumed innocent, if it showed up in more categories, then I'd probably take it more seriously. But yeah, I would say for my pick and my prediction for this category is Owen Cooper for Adolescence. All right. Outstanding supporting actress in a limited or anthology series or movie. The nominees are Erin Doherty for Adolescence, Ruth Negga for Presumed Innocent, Deirdre O'Connell for The Penguin, Chloe Sevigny for Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story, Jenny Slate for Dying for Sex, and Christine Tramarco for Adolescence. Now, for this category, there were no previous Emmy wins or nominations because all of them are first timers in terms of nominees. Alrighty. So this one was quite tough to predict because I did see for another award show, Jenny Slate won for Dying for Sex. I think it was for the Gotham Awards, but that's a different voting body for that. Um, yeah. So it's tough because it could go either way, honestly. Because it's possible Jenny Slate could take it, but I'm not sure if I'm 100% on that because I think with Dying for Sex, I don't know if many people watched that show, but I assume enough watched it for it to get nominated. Um, but I think also too, given with the whole it ends with us Blake Lively situation, maybe that could be a potential hurdle for Jenny Slate. Who knows? But I'm going to predict Erin Doherty for Adolescence because with episode three, I thought she did phenomenal job with that one, and I think yeah, she's going to win. If she doesn't win, I could see Deidre O'Connell win for the Penguin. Given yeah, like with the show being visible in other categories, that which would help. Um, yeah, I would say probably between those two, but again, it could go either way. So, but my final prediction for this category, both my pick and prediction, is Aaron Doherty for Adolescence. Alrighty, so outstanding lead actor in a limited or anthology series or movie. So the nominees are Colin Farrell for The Penguin, Stephen Graham for Adolescence, Jake Gyllenhaal for Presumed Innocent, Brian Tyree Henry for Dope Thief, and Cooper Koch for Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story. Alrighty. And in terms of previous Emmy wins and nominations, Brian Tyree Henry, he has two Emmy nominations, and the rest of the nominees are first time nominees, which I find kind of surprising for some of them, but yeah, they're first time nominees. Alrighty. So I'm not sure about Brian Tyree Henry, given that, again, as far as I've seen, I think he's the only nomination for that show. And I don't know if that show was visibly watched. Given, yeah, it's on Apple TV Plus, obviously, but yeah, I'm not too sure if he has a shot. I'd probably put the same for Jake Gyllenhaal. I think for that one, it's just the timing because that show came out, I think it was like last year. Because had, let's say, that show came out, let's say later in, let's say, this year, maybe it could have had a better shot. But yeah, I think given the release date, I'm not sure if Jake Gyllenhaal could take this. I thought Cooper Koch, based on what I've seen on in Monsters, I thought he did a great job with his performance. But yeah, with that show was quite divisive. So I'm not sure if he has a shot. If he wins, I wouldn't be surprised. So good for him. But I'm going to say it's going to be between two people, Colin Farrell and Stephen Graham. Now, Stephen Graham, he has a chance to win multiple Emmys because he's nominated in other categories. Um, so I'm going to say, for me, in terms of my pick and who I'm predicting, is Colin Farrell for the Penguin. I'm predicting him because I believe he won the Golden Globe. He did win other accolades for the Penguin. I can't think off the top of my head right now. I'll probably put that in post, but I think he has the shot because, yeah, from what I've seen with the Penguin, he did phenomenal job, and of course, remember him like in the Batman as a character did great on that one. So I'm going with Colin Farrell for this category for both my pick and prediction. Alrighty, outstanding leading actress in a limited or anthology series. The nominees are Kate Blanchett, Disclaimer, Megan Fahey for Sirens, Rashida Jones for Black Mirror, Kristen Milioti for The Penguin, and Michelle Williams for Dying for Sex. And in terms of previous Emmy wins and nominations, Kate Blanchett received 2 Emmy nominations in 2020 for Miss America. Megan Fahey, she was nominated in 2023 for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama Series for The White Lotus. Rashida Jones, she was nominated in 2015 for Exceptional Merit in Documentary Filmmaking for Hot Girls Wanted. And Michelle Williams, she won in this category back in 2019 for Fosse Verdon. Alrighty, so I think the least likely people to win is I would say it's both Megan Fahey and Kate Blanchett. Um, with Disclaimer, I heard it was quite divisive, but it seems like she was the standout amongst the cast for the Emmys. Um, and with Megan Fahey for Sirens, I enjoyed her performance on that show from what I've seen. But it seems like that show wasn't widely nominated. Again, I don't recall the technical side of the Emmys. But yeah, I think for those two, I think they're least likely not going to win. With Rashida Jones, Black Mirror, I mean, maybe, but I'm not 100% on that one. I think it's between two people, Kristen Milioti for The Penguin and Michelle Williams for Dying for Sex. Now, as I mentioned, Michelle Williams, she previously won in this category for Fosse Verdon, so it's possible that even though, let's say, Dying for Sex may not win a lot of awards, Michelle Williams could easily win for that show. But also, to yeah, the Penguin, Kristen Milioti, because she was also another highlight with the Penguin, and I say she has a shot too of winning. So I don't know. It's like, do you vote with your head or with your heart on this one? I don't know, because with my head is saying, oh, Michelle Williams is going to win this category, but on the other side, I think Kristen Milioti is going to win. So I would say my pick would be Kristen Milioti for the Penguin for the win. And I don't know if I don't know. It could go either way. I don't know. So You know what? I'm gonna take a chance. I'm gonna go prediction Christian Milioti for the Penguin. If Michelle Williams wins for this, I won't be surprised. But for to be clear, my pick in prediction, Christian Milioti for the Penguin. Alrighty, and then outstanding television movie. So the nominees are Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy, The Gorge, Mountainhead, Nona's, and Rebel Ridge. Alrighty. So I don't have any previous Emmy wins or nominations for this category and for the limited or anthology series category. Um, so it could go a few ways here. I'm not sure about The Gorge and Bridget Jones. I don't think they're gonna win. I would say for my personal preference will be Nona's. I really enjoyed that movie when that came out on Netflix at the time. I would put that as my pick. But in terms of like, is it actually going to win? I don't think so. I think it's going to come, but if it does win, that would be fantastic. So I think it's going to go between Mountain Head and Rebel Ridge. Now, with Rebel Ridge, I think it has won on in other award shows. So I think based off that, that could win. But also, to on the flip side, Mountain Head could win, given that with the people behind Succession, they were involved with that movie, and of course, the Succession being, the huge juggernaut and essentially dominating award season when that came out. It's like you cannot deny that stuff. But then I heard that with Mountainhead was good but not great based on what I've seen. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Because I think because of Mountain Head, that came out at some point this year. I think it was back in. It was in the springtime that came out. Well, Rebel Ridge came out last year. I think back in the fall. So I don't know. I don't know. I may regret this, but I'm gonna go with Mountainhead. I think just given based off with the people involved with their, previous Emmy wins and all this stuff, I think that has the better shot over Rebel Ridge. But if either or wins, I wouldn't be surprised. So for clarity, my personal pick is Nona's. But in terms of who I think is going to win, I'm going to go with Mountainhead for the win. But I won't be surprised if Rebel Ridge won. And then lastly for this video, Outstanding Limited or Anthology Series. So the nominees are Adolescence, Black Mirror, Dying for Sex, Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez Story, and The Penguin. Alrighty. I think it's going to come down to two of these categories, maybe three. I don't think Black Mirror has a shot. Same with Monsters with that show. So maybe Dying for Sex has a shot because given it's on FX and all that stuff. But again, I'm not too sure. So I think it's between Adolescence and The Penguin. I think because I won't reiterate the points I've previously said, but I'm gonna go for my pick, Adolescence, and so for prediction, I am going with Adolescence for the win here. So there's that. So that pretty much wraps up, I guess, part one of my Emmy predictions here. So for part two, I'll be focusing on the comedy categories. And a few of the categories are probably going to be revealed for the creative Emmys. So once those are revealed, I will do a video on that. So stay tuned for that one. So I want to know what you guys think about the categories here. Who do you think is going to win? Who do you think is not going to win? Let me know in the comments section. So if you want to support me, you can visit buymeacoffee.com/Namfi where you could donate and also to look at posts and also follow me there. And I have my community page on YouTube that's up. You guys feel free to post stuff as long as it's under community guidelines. And if you want to follow me on social media, my links are in the description. So I want to say thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you for part two.